Howdy folks, welcome to Phil Billy Outdoors and DIY. I'm Phil, and today I'm going to show you a project that I kind of got started on. Didn't get too far into it, but hopefully you'll find it pretty interesting, and it kind of goes hand in hand with something else I've got going on. So give me just a second, I'll get stuff out here and show you what I'm doing. Alright, so what I've got here is an H&R or New England Pardner single shot shotgun. This one happens to be 12 gauge. And what I'm going to do is make a leather, I guess you call it a buttstock cuff, I guess. It's just a piece of leather that wraps around the stock. You lace it at the bottom, and this one is going to have some shell holders on the side, some bullet loops. So, like I said, I've already got started. So what I did was, let me get this peeled up here. Alright, so what I did was I took some blue painter's tape and wrapped one side of the stock, made sure it overlapped onto the other side at the top and bottom. But I wrapped one side with the painter's tape, marked the center on the top and on the bottom, and then measured in. I happened to use a set of calipers, but I measured in, I believe I came in about an inch from the back of the stock here, and just followed the line of the stock down and measured up however far I wanted here and made a line. And then you peel the tape, you draw out all your lines, you cut it out, and then you have a nice little template. Then you take this and you transfer it to a piece of paper and make sure you double it so you have enough to wrap around the stock. And that's about how it's going to sit. Let me get you something like that. Now you can see here, zoom you back out, I've already made the paper template. I've got it cut to shape, and what I did was I measured up ½ an inch on either side, and then I set my spacing to where I want my holes to lace. You can either use leather, paracord, whatever, but to lace it, and I measured on each side, and then to make sure they lined up, I just put a straight edge across, made a line all the way across, and then circled where these lines intersect. You can see there, and that's where my holes are going to be. So that's where I'm at so far. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my leather over here. I'm going to get my template traced onto it and get it cut out. Alright, I think I've got you guys situated where you can see okay. Anyhow, I've got my template here. I've got my leather. So now all I'm going to do is just figure out exactly where I want the template on the piece of leather, and then I'll trace it and just cut it out. So I got my piece of leather just real roughly cut out here, and what I'm using to cut this is, I guess some people call it a razor wheel. Basically what it is, it's just this little round blade that fits in here, and you use it just like a pizza cutter. So what I'm going to do is get my straight edge here. I'm going to lay it down on my leather. I'll make sure the blade lines up with the line, and it does. And then I'm just going to run the wheel right along the straight edge. Just like that. Alright, I'll repeat that on the other 3 sides and then I'll get back with you. Alright, I got it cut out. So now, I got the gun up here. I'm going to do a little test fit and see how it looks. I think that'll work. Now, don't take this video to be the end-all be-all on instructions for doing this. I've never made one of these before, so you know, I'm kind of learning as I go. But I have watched a lot of videos on people doing this, so you know, take that for what it is. But so far so good. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my template on my piece of leather and mark out all the spots for my holes. So what I've got here, there we go. I just got and there it is, I guess. Just an awl. I believe it's spelled A-W-L. Awl. Anyway, it's just a pointy thing. You could use literally anything that's sharp and pointy. But what I'm going to do is on my template here. Anyway, on my template here, right everywhere that these lines intersect, I'm just going to take the awl and just punch through and just make a mark on the leather. And there we go. Figure out which way I'm going here. You can see. Oop, there we go. Those are all marked. So now, I've seen this done several different ways. You can just punch the holes for whatever size lacing you want to use, and that's it. You can punch your holes here and then glue another piece of leather on here to reinforce this, and then just run, you know, just holes in that. Or you can do either one of those but add brass eyelets in here. That way the leather isn't so quick to stretch and whatever over time. I think what I'm going to do, as long as I have enough eyelets, I'll have to check. I think I'm going to just leave just a single layer of leather. I'm not going to double it up, but I am going to put eyelets in it. Like I said, as long as I have enough. But now this is ready to be punched out, and then we'll go from there. You can see here I've got most of the holes on this side punched. I haven't done any on the other side yet. The way I'm doing these is just with one of these rotary hole punches, I believe it's called. You just squeeze it and punch the hole. This thing turns for, you know, whatever size you need. However, with this thickness of leather and the size hole I need to punch, this is some pretty rough going here. I'll do at least a couple of them here, And it's also kind of a pain to line these up just right. But you can see, like I said, with this thickness of leather and the size hole I need punched, this is pretty stiff. So I'll probably do these last two holes here tonight with this, and then I'll probably pick this back up tomorrow, or within the next couple of days. And I think I'll do this side, with just my regular punches and use a mallet, because I can already feel my pinky going numb. So I guess that's it for tonight. I'll see you, well, I won't see you, you'll see me in probably just a couple seconds. Alright, so I got all the holes punched. Let me get you in the camera here. Still an amateur, don't know what I'm doing. But got all the holes punched, and I'm going to be using these little guys. Just some little eyelets. But first, I don't know if you can see it here, I've got it marked to round my corners over. So let me grab my knife. Alright, now, next step, I'm going to sand the edges, make them all nice and smooth, and then I think we'll be ready to set in the eyelets. So I've got the edge sanded with just some, I think it was 150 grit, that's what I had laying around. One thing I forgot though, I'm going to bevel the edge all the way around before I sand with finer grit. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, not real consistent, but that's my fault, that's not the tool. This is the first time I've ever used an actual edge beveler. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some 400 grit sandpaper and take the edges down. As I'm partway through this here, one thing I will mention, if you have a big enough piece of sandpaper, like a full sheet or so, you can actually lay it down on a flat surface, and then if you've got, long straight pieces of leather that you need sanded, just lay your piece of leather down and just run it across a piece of sandpaper. But yeah, you can do that, and it'll keep your edges flat, and you get to sand the entire edge at one time. Unfortunately, I've just got a small piece of sandpaper, so I just cut it up into these, wherever I'm at here, there we go, into these little pieces and fold them over, just go at it. So I'm gonna finish this up and we'll move on. Okay, now I believe we're ready to start setting the eyelets in. So whenever you punch your holes, if you want to, where am I at here? There we go. If you want to use eyelets or rivets or anything, just make sure you size the hole to your rivet or eyelet, whatever. But these, just push right down into the hole, like that. Now this leather, this piece here, is almost too thick for these, if not a little too thick, but I've used them before with this leather and they work out pretty good. So you just do that, and then you've got your little setting tool here, which looks like a hole punch, but it's not. And see if I can remember the way this goes here. You can see one side has this little nub here and the other side doesn't. and obviously your eyelets, one side is rounded over and nice looking, and then the other side needs rounded or flattened, whichever your particular stuff works, whichever way. I'm not good with words even, so sorry. Let me see, I believe it goes this way. But anyhow, you just clamp it on there and just squeeze it. Ooh. And that one didn't work out so well. Maybe I had it backwards. You can see there, I believe I had, maybe you can see, come on. There, that's a little better, but yeah, I believe I had these things backwards. So let's try that again. Put that down in there, and this time we'll put the little nub on the back side of the eyelet. Try it. Well, that even felt better. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, hopefully you'll be able to see it here. You can see how I kind of flattened that eyelet out on the backhand. Good Lord, on the back side. And then there's the front. So, I'm just going to go down through now and get the rest of these set. Alright, so I've got this fit up on the stock here, just as a test fit. I don't have it tightened up. But you can see there, I've got it laced. Oh, wrong way, there we go. And I've just got it laced with some paracord, which I may have to use paracord when I finish it, because I don't know if I have a piece of leather long enough to lace it with leather, but we'll see when the time comes, I guess. But looks like it fits pretty good, so I went ahead and you can see I marked out, oh, there we go, marked out where my stitch lines need to go for the cartridge loops. So that's going to be the next step. I'll get this pulled back off of here and I will cut the strap for the loops and go ahead and punch holes in everything. Okay, so now I got the cartridge loops on there, as you can see. These are actually for, let me grab one here. These are actually for 45 Colt. And yes, this is going on a 12 gauge shotgun. And if you want to find out why this is, then stick around and in a later video I'll show you exactly why. But as you can see, it'll hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Made sure I counted right. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good on there. Fills it up fairly well. There's not too much room front or back, so I think it came out pretty okay. So now, really, this is pretty well done, other than a finish. And it can be laced on. But I think I've decided to back this with some thin leather, and then I'll stitch it around the edges just to make it look nice. But I guess I'll do all that off camera, and I'll show you guys the final result. Oh, and in case anybody's wondering, you can find some videos on how to get your measurements for your cartridge loops, and you know how you figure out how long your strap needs to be and everything else. So I'm not good with math, numbers, especially fractions, so you know I watched some videos, and that's why I did this off camera, because like I said, I'm not good with numbers, and it takes me some trial and error to get this stuff done. So like I said in the beginning, you know, don't take this as an end-all be-all video on how to do this. this is just my first time doing it. I thought I'd bring you guys along. So yeah, like I said, I'll get this backed and stitched up and show you what it looks like. All right, well here it is. It's all finished up, at least as much as it's getting for now. You can see, got it stitched up. Going the wrong way again. There we go. I think it made it look a lot better than without the stitching. So yeah. So basically, now I have to get something to finish it with. Probably go with Neat's foot oil. It's supposed to be real good for stuff like this. It's going to be outside. Apparently it's waterproof, so I think that's what I'm going to get. But I don't have any, so this is as far as I go for now. But once I get it finished up, I'll get it put on the gun. And like I said, as far as the gun goes, stay tuned to the channel if you want to see more about that, because it's it's a project I've got going. So hold on, let me get you pointed at my mug here. All right, anyway, but yeah, so I'll be doing some videos on the gun here coming up. Don't mind my shiny forehead, it's hot up here. I'm upstairs in my house, and it's not, well, probably not insulated at all, but yeah, it's a little warm. So I guess that's going to do it for now. Like I said, you know, this is the first time I've ever done this, so you know, it didn't turn out perfect, but I think it turned out pretty okay for my first one. So thanks for watching, and I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.